the message that shouldn't exist. The message wasn't meant for me. That's the first thing I understood. The second thing was worse. It wasn't the first message. It appeared on her Apple Watch at 6:42 a.m., lighting up the dark bedroom with a soft glow that felt far too innocent for what it carried. Last night meant everything. I wish I was still there. I stared at it longer than I should have, long enough for my brain to try and twist it into something harmless. A misunderstanding. A wrong number. A message meant for someone else. But there was a name above it. Ethan. And Ethan was very real. My wife Claire was still asleep beside me. Her breathing was slow and steady. One arm curled under her pillow, the other resting near where her watch lay on the nightstand. The same watch she wore every day. The same watch that now felt like a loaded weapon placed quietly in front of me. I didn't touch it at first. I just sat there, propped against the headboard, staring at the screen as it dimmed back into darkness. My heart didn't race. That's what I remember most. It didn't race. It slowed, like everything inside me had suddenly gone cold. Claire, I almost said, but I didn't, because something in me, something quiet and instinctive, told me this wasn't a moment to react. This was a moment to understand. I reached over slowly and picked up the watch. It unlocked the moment it felt my skin. She had said it that way years ago. For convenience, she'd said. Funny how convenience can become betrayal. The messages were still there. Not just one. A thread. Ethan, did you make it home okay? Claire, yeah, he was already asleep. My stomach tightened. Ethan, I hate that you have to lie. Claire, I hate it too. But I don't regret last night. I stopped reading. Not because I didn't want to know, but because I already knew enough. 6 years of marriage, gone in 4 lines of text. I placed the watch back exactly where I found it, carefully, like it might explode if I handled it wrong. Beside me, Claire shifted slightly, letting out a soft sigh. For a moment, I just looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I married. The woman I thought I knew. And all I could think was, how long? The question sat heavy in my chest, because this didn't feel new. It felt practiced, comfortable. I got out of bed quietly, every movement slow, deliberate. Like I was afraid the floor might creak and wake her. Like I needed more time before everything changed. In the kitchen, I made coffee, not because I wanted it, but because I didn't know what else to do with my hands. The machine hummed softly, filling the silence. And that's when the memories started. Claire laughing in the rain the night we met. Claire crying at our wedding because she said she didn't deserve this kind of happiness. Claire falling asleep on my shoulder during long drives. I gripped the edge of the counter, because now, every memory felt like it had a shadow behind it. Had she been lying then too? Or did something change along the way? The coffee finished brewing. I poured it into 2 mugs. Out of habit. Then I stopped, staring at the second cup. And for the first time, the anger hit. Not loud, not explosive, just steady. I dumped her coffee down the sink. By the time she walked into the kitchen, I was sitting at the table, my mug in front of me, untouched. "Morning," she said softly, her voice still thick with sleep. She leaned down and kissed my cheek, like she always did, like nothing had changed. I didn't move. She pulled back slightly, noticing, "You okay?" There it was. Concern. Real, believable concern. "Did you sleep well?" I asked. My voice sounded normal, too normal. "Yeah," she said, stretching slightly. "You?" I held her gaze. "No," I said. A flicker of something crossed her face, gone too quickly to name. "Bad dream?" she asked. I nodded slowly. "Something like that." She reached for the cabinet, grabbing a mug. "Want me to make you another coffee?" "That one looks cold." "I'll make it," I said. I stood up, walking past her, close enough to smell her shampoo, close enough to remember what it felt like to trust her. "Claire," I said, my back still turned. "Yeah?" I paused. Because this was it, the moment where everything could still go back, if I stayed silent, if I pretended, if I chose ignorance. But I didn't. Who was Ethan? Silence. Not long, just enough. Then, what? I turned slowly. She was still holding her mug, but her hand had tightened around it. "Ethan," I repeated. "Who is he?" Her face changed. Not dramatically, just slightly. But it was enough. "A client," she said. Too quickly, I nodded. "A client. Yeah," she added, more firmly now. "Why?" I stepped closer. Not aggressive, just certain. "Because he texted you this morning." Her eyes flickered, just for a second. "My phone's in the bedroom," she said. "I didn't see it on your phone." That's when it hit her, the realization. Her gaze dropped, just slightly, toward her wrist, where her watch wasn't. And in that moment, she knew. I had seen it. Everything changed after that. Not loudly. Not instantly. But something between us, something invisible, cracked. "Daniel." She started. I raised a hand, not to stop her, just to slow her down. "Don't lie to me." I said quietly, because I didn't think I could survive hearing it. Not again. Her lips parted, closed, then parted again, and for the first time in 6 years. My wife didn't know what to say. That's when I realized this wasn't just a mistake. This was something real, something ongoing, something that had been living in the spaces I thought were ours. And I had just walked into it, by accident, or maybe right on time. The truth she tried to hide, Claire didn't answer right away. She just stood there in the kitchen, her fingers tightening around the mug like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. I watched her carefully, not like a husband anymore, but like someone trying to read a stranger who looked exactly like the person he loved. Daniel, she said again, softer this time. I didn't move, didn't speak, because I had already heard enough lies for one morning. Say something, she pleaded. I did, I replied. I asked you not to lie. Her eyes filled slightly, not with guilt, not yet, but with fear. That's when I understood something important. She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of being caught. It's not what you think, she said. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was predictable. Then tell me what it is, I said. Another pause. Longer this time. Heavier. It started a few months ago, she admitted finally. There it was. Not denial. Not anymore. How many months, I asked. She hesitated. 3. 3 months. 90 days. Countless moments where she stood in front of me and said nothing. 3 months, I repeated. I nodded slowly, letting it settle. While I was going to work. While we were having dinner. While we were... I stopped myself. I didn't need to say the rest. It wasn't like that at first, she rushed to say. It just happened. It always just happens, doesn't it? I said quietly. She flinched. He's a client, she continued. We started talking more, working late, and then you started sleeping with him, I finished. Silence. She looked down, and that was answer enough. Something inside me shifted, not shattered, not exploded, just shifted, like a door closing somewhere deep inside my chest. How many times, I asked. Daniel, how many times? Her voice broke slightly. I don't know. I let out a slow breath. Not once, not a mistake. She shook her head, tears forming now. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I looked at her, really looked at her. When you said you didn't regret last night, I said, my voice quieter now, what did you mean? Her eyes snapped up to mine. She hadn't expected me to quote it. I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. Then how did you mean it? I asked. She opened her mouth, closed it, then whispered, I felt seen. That whispered, I felt seen. That word hit harder than anything else. Seen, I repeated. You don't understand, she said, shaking her head. It's not just about him. It's about how I feel when I'm with him. I took a step back, because suddenly the room felt too small. And how do you feel? I asked. She hesitated, then said the one thing I wasn't ready to hear, like I matter. That broke something, not loudly, not dramatically, but completely. And I never made you feel that way, I asked. That's not what I'm saying. It sounds exactly like what you're saying. I love you, she said suddenly. The words landed flat, because love wasn't the problem anymore. You don't do this to someone you love, I said. I didn't mean for it to happen, she cried. I didn't wake up one day and decide to betray you. Then when did you decide not to stop, I asked. Silence. That question stayed in the air between us, unanswered, because there was no good answer. I ran a hand through my hair, pacing now, trying to think, trying to breathe. Does he know about me? I asked. She nodded. Yes. And he's okay with it? Another hesitation. Then he said he doesn't want to come between us. I laughed. This time, it actually came out. That's generous of him, I said. Daniel, please. No, I'm serious, I cut in. He sleeps with a married woman but doesn't want to come between us. That's impressive. She wiped her face, frustrated now. You're twisting everything. No, I said. I'm finally seeing it clearly. We stood there, breathing the same air but living in completely different realities. Do you love him? I asked. Her eyes widened. I don't know. That answer was worse than yes. Do you want to be with him? I pressed. I don't know, she repeated, her voice shaking. I nodded slowly. Right, because uncertainty meant something. It meant she was already halfway gone. What do you want from me right now? I asked. She looked at me, desperate. I want you to understand. I stared at her. For a long moment. I do understand, I said quietly, and I did. I understood that somewhere along the way, she had stopped choosing me, not all at once. But little by little, I just don't accept it, I added. Her face crumpled. I never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. But you did, I said. Silence again. I can end it, she said suddenly. That caught me off guard. I can stop seeing him. Right now. I'll call him. I'll stop, I said. She froze. Don't do that for me, I said. What do you mean, she asked. I mean, if you're going to end it, it should be because you want to, not because you got caught. Her eyes filled again. I do want to fix this. Do you? I asked. Yes. Or do you just not want to lose both of us? That landed. She didn't answer, because she couldn't. I exhaled slowly, feeling something settle inside me. Not peace, but clarity. I need space, I said. Her head snapped up. What? I need time to think, I continued, because right now, I don't know who you are anymore. Daniel, don't do this, she said quickly. We can work through this. Couples do it all the time. I'm not couples, I said. I'm me. And I needed to figure out what that meant now. Where will you go? She asked. I looked around the house. Our house. Doesn't matter, I said. I just won't be here. Her voice broke. Please don't leave. I paused, hand on the back of the chair. I didn't leave, I said quietly. You did. That was the truth. I walked past her, toward the bedroom, toward the life that suddenly didn't feel like mine anymore. Behind me, I could hear her crying, soft at first, then harder, and for a moment, just a moment, I almost turned back, but I didn't, because love doesn't erase betrayal and some truths. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. As I packed a small bag, one thought kept repeating in my mind. This wasn't just about what she did, it was about what I would do next. And for the first time in years, I wasn't thinking about us. I was thinking about me. And I didn't know yet if that meant walking away or finding a way to stay. The weight of what remains, I didn't go far. That's the truth I didn't admit to anyone, not even myself. I drove for maybe 20 minutes before pulling into the parking lot of a cheap roadside motel. I'd passed 100 times but never noticed. The kind of place you only see when you have nowhere else to go. It smelled faintly of detergent and something older underneath it. The room was small, one bed, a chair by the window, a buzzing light that didn't quite stop. It was perfect, because it didn't feel like my life. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at my phone. No messages, no calls. For a second, I wondered if she would reach out immediately, beg me to come back, fight for us. She didn't. That hurt more than I expected. I leaned back slowly, staring at the ceiling. And that's when the thoughts started coming, not in a rush, but in waves. Memories, questions, regret, anger, not just at her, at myself. Because somewhere beneath all of it, there was a question I couldn't ignore. How did we get here? Claire and I weren't a broken couple. At least, that's what I always believed. We didn't scream at each other. We didn't fight over small things. We had routines, stability, a kind of quiet comfort that I thought people spent their lives chasing. But maybe that was the problem. Comfort can become distance if you're not paying attention. Routine can turn into silence. And silence can leave space for someone else to step in. I sat up, running my hands over my face. Because I didn't want to think that. I didn't want to share the blame. But the truth isn't always clean. My phone buzzed suddenly. My heart jumped. Claire. I stared at her name for a few seconds before answering. Yeah. Her voice came through shaky. Where are you? Somewhere nearby. Are you okay? I almost laughed at that. Does it matter? Of course it matters, she said quickly. Daniel, please, just tell me where you are. I'm fine, I said. That's enough. There was a pause. Then I ended it. That caught me off guard. With him, she added. I called him after you left. I told him it's over. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. Why? Because I don't want this, she said. I don't want to lose you. The words were right. But something about them didn't sit right. You didn't want to lose me yesterday either, I said. And that didn't stop you. She inhaled sharply. I made a mistake. No, I said. You made a series of choices. Silence. I know, she whispered. I could hear her crying again. And this time, it didn't make things easier. Come home, she said. Please, we can talk. We can figure this out. I closed my eyes, because part of me wanted that, wanted to go back, wanted to pretend this was something we could fix quickly. But another part, the quieter, steadier part, knew it wasn't that simple. I can't, I said. Why? She asked, her voice breaking. Because I don't trust you right now. The words hung there. Heavy. Unavoidable. I'll earn it back, she said quickly. I'll do anything. Therapy, honesty, whatever you need. I believed her. That was the complicated part. I know you would try, I said. Then let me, she pleaded. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. It's not just about trying, Claire. It's about what already happened. Another silence. Do you still love me? She asked. I didn't hesitate. Yes, because that wasn't the problem. Then why are you pushing me away? She cried. I exhaled slowly. I'm not pushing you away. Then what are you doing? I'm trying to understand if I can live with this. That stopped her, because that was the real question. Not whether we loved each other, but whether love was enough to carry what she had done. I'll wait, she said quietly. For what? For you to decide. I didn't respond right away, because I didn't know if I wanted her to wait, or if that was just another way of holding on to something that might already be gone. I don't know how long that will take, I said. I don't care. Her voice was softer now, more certain. I'm not giving up on us. I swallowed hard, because part of me admired that, and part of me resented it. You already did, I said quietly. The line went silent, not disconnected, just quiet. Then she whispered, I'm trying to come back. That sentence stayed with me long after we hung up. That night, I didn't sleep. Not really. I drifted in and out, my mind replaying everything over and over again. But one thought kept coming back. If she had never gotten that message on her watch, would I still be living a lie? The answer was obvious. Yes. And somehow, that hurt even more than the truth itself. The next morning, I did something I hadn't planned. I called Ethan. His number wasn't hard to find. It was still in her recent messages. The phone rang twice before he picked up. Hello? His voice was calm, unaware. Ethan, I said. A pause. Yeah, who is this? This is Daniel. Silence. Then, oh. That one word told me everything. He knew exactly who I was. Claire told me she ended things, he said carefully. Did she? Yes. I nodded slowly, even though he couldn't see me. Good, I said. Another pause. I didn't know how serious things were between you two, he added. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, but because it was such a weak defense. She's my wife, I said. Silence again. Longer this time. I didn't mean for this to happen, he said. There it was, the same line, different voice. Funny, I said. Neither of you did. He didn't respond. I'm not going to argue, I continued. I just want to know one thing. Okay, did she ever talk about leaving me? That question mattered more than I expected, because it would tell me something important. Was I already gone in her mind before any of this started? There was a long pause. Then, no. I frowned slightly. She talked about being unhappy sometimes, he added, but she never said she wanted to leave you. Something shifted inside me, not relief, not exactly, but clarity. Thank you, I said, and then I hung up. I sat there for a long time after that, because now I knew something I hadn't before. She didn't cheat because she stopped loving me. She cheated because something inside her had already started breaking, and she didn't know how to fix it. Neither did I. By the third day, I realized something else. I couldn't stay in that motel forever. Eventually, I would have to go back, not necessarily to fix things, but to face them, because no matter what I decided, there was no version of my life where this didn't need an ending or a new beginning. I just didn't know which one it would be. As I packed my bag, one thought stayed with me. Love can survive a lot of things, but trust doesn't come back the same. And the question wasn't whether I could forgive her. It was whether I could ever look at her again without seeing that message, glowing in the dark. At 6:42 a.m., what we choose to keep. I didn't knock when I got back. I just stood outside the door for a moment, staring at it like it belonged to someone else. 3 days, that's all it had been. But it felt longer. Long enough for something inside me to change. When I finally opened the door, the house was quiet, too quiet. Claire, I called. No answer. I stepped inside slowly, setting my bag down by the wall. The air felt different, heavier, like the house itself was holding its breath. Then I saw her. She was sitting at the dining table, in the same chair she always used. But everything else was different. No phone, no distractions, just her. Waiting, her eyes lifted when she saw me. Red, tired, but steady. Hi, she said. Hi. I stayed by the door for a second, like I wasn't sure I still belonged there. You came back, she said softly. I said I would. A small nod. I wasn't sure. I wasn't either, I admitted. That honesty settled between us. Not sharp, not painful, just real. I walked further in, taking a seat across from her, the same table where we had eaten hundreds of meals. Shared laughter. Planned a future. Now it felt like neutral ground. I ended it, she said again. I know. I blocked him, deleted everything. I nodded. Okay? She watched me carefully. Is that all you're going to say? I leaned back slightly. What do you want me to say? I don't know, she whispered. Something. Anything. I studied her for a long moment. You ended it, I said slowly. That matters. Her shoulders dropped slightly, relief, but not enough. But it doesn't erase what happened, I added. The relief disappeared. I know, she said. Silence. This time it wasn't uncomfortable, it was necessary. I called him, I said. Her eyes widened slightly. You did? Yeah. What did he say? That you never talked about leaving me. She looked down. That's true. Why not? I asked. She swallowed. Because I didn't want to leave you. Then why risk losing me? Her eyes filled again. I don't have a good answer, she said. Try anyway. She took a shaky breath. Because something in me felt empty, she said. And instead of fixing it, I ignored it. I didn't interrupt. And when he came along, it felt easy, she continued. Like I didn't have to think about what was missing. I could just feel something again. Something new, I said. She nodded. Yes. I leaned forward slightly. And I wasn't enough. That's not what this is, she said quickly. It's exactly what this is, I replied. She shook her head, tears slipping down now. You were enough, Daniel. I just stopped showing up in our life the way I should have. I held her gaze, and instead of fixing that with me, I said, you found it somewhere else. She didn't argue. Because she couldn't. I hate myself for it, she whispered. I believed her. That was the hardest part. I don't hate you, I said. Her head snapped up. I'm hurt, I continued. I'm angry. I don't trust you right now. I paused. But I don't hate you. Her face crumpled. I don't deserve that, she said. Probably not, I replied honestly. That honestly hung between us, raw, unfiltered. So what happens now, she asked. That question again, but this time I had an answer. I don't know if I can go back to who we were, I said. She nodded slowly. I understand. But I also don't want to walk away without trying, I added. Her breath caught. You mean that? Yes. Hope flickered in her eyes. Small, fragile. But this won't be easy, I said. I know. It's not going to be about just saying sorry and moving on. I know, she repeated. It's going to take time, I continued, and honesty, and a lot of uncomfortable conversations. She nodded through tears. I'll do it, whatever it takes. I watched her, carefully. For you, I said. She froze. Not for me, I corrected. For yourself. Because if you don't understand why you did this, it'll happen again. That landed. Deep. I don't want to be that person, she whispered. Then don't be, I said. Silence again. But something had shifted. Not fixed, not healed, but opened. I'm scared, she admitted. Me too. Of what? I hesitated. Of staying, I said. Her eyes filled. And of leaving, I added. She let out a shaky breath. Yeah. We sat there for a long time, not touching, not pretending, just existing in the truth of what we had become. Eventually, she spoke again. Can I ask you something? Yeah. Why did you come back? I thought about that. Really thought about it. Then I said the only answer that felt true. Because what we had was real. Her eyes softened. And I don't want to throw that away without knowing if we can build something better, I continued. Better, she repeated softly. Not perfect, I said. Just honest. A tear slipped down her cheek, but she smiled, just a little. I want that too, she said. And for the first time since everything fell apart, I believed her. Not completely, not blindly, but enough to stay. That night we didn't share the same bed, not yet, but we stayed in the same house. And somehow, that felt like the bigger step. Weeks passed, then months. We talked, a lot, about things we'd ignored, things we didn't even realize were missing. We argued, we listened, we learned how to be uncomfortable without shutting down. Some days were harder than others. Some days I still saw that message in my mind, still felt that cold, sinking feeling in my chest. But other days I saw something else. Effort, change, truth. And slowly, very slowly, trust started to rebuild. Not the same as before, but maybe stronger. Because this time, it wasn't based on assumption, it was built on choice. One evening, months later, we sat on the couch together, not touching, but close. Do you ever think about it? I asked. All the time, she said. Me too. A pause. Do you regret staying? She asked. I looked at her. Really looked at her. No, I said. Why not? I smiled slightly. Because we didn't stay the same. Her eyes filled again. Neither did I, she whispered. I know. And this time, when I reached for her hand, she didn't just hold it, she held it like she understood what it meant, what it cost, what it took to get back here. Because love, real love, isn't just about the good moments, it's about what you choose after everything falls apart. and whether you're willing, truly willing, to build something new from what remains.